Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. JP Sanchez, and I serve as the editor of a new book entitled Succeeding in Academic Medicine, a roadmap for diverse medical students and residents. I'm happy that we have launched this podcast series to feature the authors of the many chapters in the book. Today, we have Dr. Daniel Guzman. How's it going, Dan?
Hey, good JP. Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
And I sort of forgot to mention that besides contributing to this book, Dan also served as our DJ at the 10th anniversary celebration of BINGAP. So excellent work. Thank you so much for being a part of that celebration. I feel it's only appropriate to see if you can mix in any music at this moment.
You mean like this?
Exactly. Nicely done. Nicely done. So Dan, when we started this project, all of us were committed to providing materials to encourage diverse medical students and residents to stay on track and becoming future faculty. Can you share a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. So I grew up in New Jersey as a first generation Chilean American, and I attended Rutgers University in New Brunswick for my undergraduate degree in biomedical engineering, and then pursued medical school at Rutgers New Jersey Medical School in Newark, New Jersey. And after finishing medical school in 2018, I moved over to San Francisco, California, where I'm now a second year internal medicine resident at the University of California in San Francisco.
Huge congratulations again, man, to have succeeded in matching on the West Coast, and being a East Coast resident, especially at University of California, San Francisco. Huge.
Thanks, man. Great
Congratulations.
experience.
When we think about this particular chapter that you co-authored, Community Service Scholarship, why did you decide to contribute to this chapter?
Yeah, so community service has always been a big part of my life since childhood. And I think I've always tried to involve myself in activities that serve underserved Latino communities. And in medical school, I was a member and co president of our chapter of the Latino Medical Student Association, by which I worked with other students to serve our underserved Latino populations in Newark, New Jersey. And at the same time, I was involved in our student run free clinic, where we primarily serve Latino and African American patients. And during my third year of medical school, when I became one of the co-directors in the clinic, I kind of focused on merging those two things together by serving the Latino populations of Newark, and then also working on preventive medicine by utilizing LMSA as a resource to inform our uninsured communities of what resources are available to them, and increase the number of patients we had in clinic to offer free primary care to and education to. And so this became a pretty empowering experience to me because in a way it was sustainable and a tangible change that we were making in these individuals' lives through community engagement rather than being kind of a one-time community service event. And this experience followed many of the frameworks outlined in the chapter we wrote and led to some of the scholarship illustrated in the chapter, such as poster presentations, oral presentations, and awards. So it made me feel like writing this chapter was very reflective, personal, and hopeful that others can carry out their own service projects in a successful fashion that also makes them feel like they're making a sustainable change in their communities.
Yeah, I think a lot of what you just shared will resonate with a lot of the medical students and residents. I think especially amongst your peers at NJMS, but your peers involved in LMSA and SNMA, ANAMS and APAMS and a lot of the other organizations, they're very much about community service. So I think they're really going to be able to relate well with what you've written. As we talk about writing, what was the most difficult part about contributing to this book and this chapter?
Oh man, I always have a hard time writing about my personal story because I found it difficult to express in words the most valuable parts of what I've learned through my experiences, especially those parts that would be truly beneficial for someone else to hear. So I ended up writing it multiple times until what I finished with sounds nothing like what I started with. So I guess editing would be up there as something that was pretty difficult with writing the chapter.
Okay, great. And for those who haven't picked up the book yet, we want to encourage everyone to pick up a copy and stay on track in pursuing their dreams or and thinking more about becoming a future faculty member. Can you share one nugget from the chapter that you think is particularly important for our listeners to know about?
Yes. Any community service project that you are currently involved in has the potential to be translated into service scholarship, which is obviously the premise of our chapter. And that can be in any form like poster or oral presentations, abstracts, manuscripts, or awards. And in order to do this, one of the most important ways to structure your project is with value-based alignment, which is the concept that your personal and professional interests should align with the needs of your community that you're serving and the institution that's supporting you to do so. And if you want to read more about value-based alignment, make sure to read the chapter. So please try to get a copy or have your institution sponsor you to get a copy so that you can read our stories and hopefully get a better idea of how you can carry out a successful service project.
Great, Dan. So thank you again for participating in this podcast. I know you're extremely busy, especially with our current situation and our current crisis, but excellent work on the book. And, we're excited to have you as a part of the BINGAP family and as a BINGAP leader. And we'll be in touch again shortly.
Thanks again for having me. I was glad to contribute.